All right, let's dive into Macbeth,
Yeah.
specifically Act 5,
Yeah.
Scene 5. We're really getting to the point where
So things are falling apart for Macbeth, right?
it's the beginning of the end, you could say.
He's holed up in his castle.
Right.
He's got that prophecy about Birnam Wood. And he's thinking, you know, I'm invincible.
Well, that's what he wants to believe, yeah.
Yeah.
But right away, Shakespeare does this brilliant thing.
What's that?
He shows us this contrast between how Macbeth is acting, all tough and confident, and then this little detail that's kind of hints that things aren't so great.
You're talking about that cry of women.
Exactly. It's like this subtle background noise.
It's kind of eerie, right?
It's almost like the castle itself is weeping, foreshadowing what's to come.
And then, of course, we get the news about Lady Macbeth, which completely throws Macbeth for a loop.
Yeah, I mean, that's when we get that famous tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow speech.
Ugh.
Not the tomorrow speech.
I know. Every student's favorite.
But come on, it's such a powerful speech.
It is, absolutely.
So what's going on with Macbeth there? I mean, his wife just died.
You'd think he'd be grieving, right?
Yeah.
But he almost seems detached. Like when he says she should have died hereafter, it's like he's saying death comes for us all anyway.
It's a pretty cold way to react.
It is. And then he just goes off on this whole rant about time. Like every day is just blending into the next, and it all leads to nothing.
He's lost all hope, hasn't he?
He has. He sees life as this pointless performance full of sound and fury.
Signifying nothing.
Exactly. That's the key line.
Yeah, heavy stuff. But then the messenger shows up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like a sudden jolt of energy. Macbeth's practically barking at him. Your story, quickly!
He's desperate for any kind of distraction.
And what does he get? News that Birnam Wood is moving?
Which is, of course, impossible.
Well, not really.
Right. We know that Malcolm's army is using those branches for camouflage.
It's that classic dramatic irony. We know what's really happening.
Yeah.
But Macbeth is completely in the dark.
Yeah, Shakespeare's so good at that.
So how does Macbeth react to this news?
At first, he's furious. Calls the messenger a liar.
He doesn't want to believe it.
No, he's clinging to that prophecy. But then there's this shift.
Okay.
So he starts to doubt. He says, I pull in resolution. And he questions the witches, the fiend that lies like truth.
He's starting to realize he might have been tricked.
Exactly. And that's the beginning of the end for him.
Yeah, that crack in his armor. It's only going to get wider from here.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like his whole world is collapsing around him.
Yeah, and yet he still tries to put on a brave face. At the end of the scene.
Oh, totally.
He's like, ring the alarm bell, blow wind, come rack. At least we'll die with harness on our back.
It's almost like a last-ditch effort.
Yeah, like a burst of defiance. But I also wonder if there's a sense of relief there.
Oh, how so?
Like maybe, after all the scheming and killing, he's finally ready to face the music.
Yeah, I could see that. Maybe death is a kind of release for him.
It's got to be exhausting.
Oh, absolutely.
To live with that much guilt and paranoia.
And speaking of exhaustion, that tomorrow speech,
Oh, yeah.
it's not just about Macbeth's personal crisis.
So it's about something bigger, right?
Exactly. It's about those universal themes.
Time, death, the meaning of life.
Shakespeare's hitting us with the big questions there.
And it's so relatable. I mean, who hasn't felt that sense of time slipping away, life feeling meaningless?
It's that existential dread. We all feel it sometimes.
And Shakespeare captures it perfectly.
Yeah.
But even though it's a dark speech,
Yeah.
there's also a strange beauty to it, don't you think?
Absolutely. The language, the imagery, it's both heartbreaking and poetic.
Yeah, like even when we're facing the void, we can still find beauty in expressing those emotions.
And don't forget about the dramatic irony in this scene.
Oh, right. We were talking about that earlier.
The audience knows about Malcolm's clan, but Macbeth is totally clueless.
That creates so much suspense.
It keeps us on the edge of our seats.
Waiting for that moment when Macbeth finds out the truth.
And when he does, it's going to be devastating.
This whole scene is like a pressure cooker.
Oh, yeah.
You can feel the tension building.
Yeah.
And it's all going to explode in the next act.
Exactly. We're watching a man on the verge of collapse.
It's gripping stuff. So for any students out there who are trying to understand this scene,
Right.
what are some key things to keep in mind?
Well, first, think about Lady Macbeth's death and how that affects Macbeth.
Even though she's not physically present?
Yeah, her absence is huge.
It's like he's lost his anchor.
Exactly. And then you have the news about Birnam Wood, which just adds to his growing sense of unreality.
He's starting to question everything.
His grip on power is slipping.
And it all ties back to those themes of fate versus free will.
Right. Was Macbeth destined to fall? Or did he make choices that led him to this point?
It's the age-old question.
And Shakespeare doesn't give us any easy answers.
Which is what makes it so interesting to discuss.
Absolutely, it makes you think.
It challenges us to consider those big questions about human nature
Yeah.
and the forces that shape our lives.
And I think it reminds us that even the most powerful people are still vulnerable to their own flaws and the unpredictable turns of fate.
Shakespeare really packs a punch with this scene.
He does.
I mean, you've got the psychological drama, the universal themes, the dramatic irony.
It's all there.
It's like a masterclass in storytelling.
Absolutely. And it sets us up perfectly for the final act.
So, for all those students out there who might be writing an essay on Macbeth,
Yeah.
what are some key things they could focus on in this scene?
Well, the language is crucial, especially in that tomorrow speech.
Right, those powerful metaphors.
Exactly, like life being a brief candle or a walking shadow.
It's so bleak.
It is, and that really reflects Macbeth's state of mind.
He's lost all hope.
He's realized that ambition and power, they haven't brought him happiness.
It's like he's saying, what was it all for?
And students could also look at Lady Macbeth's death.
Even though it happens off stage.
Right. It's a turning point for Macbeth.
He's lost his partner in crime.
And he's truly alone now.
Which brings us back to the witches and the prophecies. Did they manipulate Macbeth, or did he choose his own path?
It's the classic debate, fate versus free will.
And there's evidence to support both sides.
Shakespeare leaves it open to interpretation.
It's a question that's still relevant today.
Oh, absolutely.
Do we have control over our own lives, or are we just puppets?
It's something we all grapple with.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about.
I hope so.
Especially those students tackling Macbeth.
It's a rich and rewarding play.
So what's the one thing you want them to take away from this scene?
I want them to see how complex it is. It's not just a plot point, it's a microcosm of the whole play.
It's where all the themes come together.
Exactly. And I hope it inspires them to dig deeper, to find their own interpretations.
That's what makes Shakespeare so great.
There's always something new to discover.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, happy reading, everyone.